Life on the road is not for everyone, and everyone lives it differently. This is Interviews with Touring Techs.
My name's Kevin Varnado, professional guitar tech, I guess you could say. I've been touring this is my 17th year of touring and 20th year in the business.
How did you get into the music business, and what was your path to teching?
I went to Columbia State Community College for a music education degree, associate's degree. From there, went to Middle Tennessee State University for about a year, and then had a 2-year interim in the Army. I was still trying to figure out what I want to do when I grew up. And got out of the Army, went back to MTSU and finished my degree in recording industry management. My first gig actually was with Alabama. I didn't actually start like a lot of guys working in the bars and the clubs. I actually started at Opryland, worked there 3 years, was stage manager of the Geo Theater, the outdoor amphitheater. And in '94, Alabama was our headliner all summer, along with Tanya Tucker and Oak Ridge Boys. They left in October of '94, and in January, early, like the second week of January, I got a call. Hey, you want to come be a drum tech? And I said, well, I've never teched drums before. And, you know, my mentor, the guy that hired me, Ed Turner, said, well, can you learn? I said, absolutely. So that was Monday night, and Wednesday I was in Fort Payne, Alabama. I worked for them for 2 tours, 2 years. And then I left there. I went to work for Alan Jackson for 3 years. And then after that, I took a little time off to be Mr. Mom, to raise my son. And during that time, I did gigs with Black Hawk and this boy band called LFO for a short while. And then worked at Gibson in the repair department, working on guitars. And got the itch to go back out on the road. And the next job out was with Lone Star. And then I went from there to Rascal Flatts for 3 years, Sugarland, Gretchen Wilson, and I'm currently with Brad Paisley.
What do you think about the stigma of stage techs being musicians that couldn't hack it and that settled for being a tech?
I certainly think that is a valid assertion. There are guys, most guitar techs that I know, I've only known a couple that didn't play guitar at all, but most of them are guitar players. They play stringed instruments. Now, whether they're frustrated or not, I'd say there probably is some of that. I certainly have had times when I wished I was playing and instead of teching, and not because the audience was excited or anything, other than the fact that I would have a chance to play, you know, guitar. But I think it's a valid assertion. If you have a man or a woman, young guy or girl, who really would rather be on stage than teching, they're in the wrong field, because they're frustrated for one. I don't think they're ever going to be great techs because of that, because they really would rather play. And I've worked with some guys like that, and I think if you want to play, that's what you should pursue with everything that you have. And if you want to tech, that's what you should pursue. But if you're frustrated, you're not going to make yourself happy or anybody else, ultimately.
What do you think it takes to be a good tech?
Education is one. There are guitar techs, I've known a few, that really they tune and string instruments. They don't know how to do setups. They couldn't tell you anything about the action on the guitar. They couldn't install a pickup. To be a good tech, you have to educate yourself, and I do it nearly every day. Really, to be a good tech, to be a well-rounded tech, you need to know everything that you can about not only guitars, about electricity. You need to know how effects work, how they go in a chain as far as the order that they would go in. You need to know about speakers. You need to know about amplifiers, and it's just a continual process. I think that's what it takes to be a good tech.
What kind of education, self or formal, have you sought out to use being a tech?
I started reading the Dan Erlewine books that you can get from Stu Mac, watching his videos, and then a few years went by and I became interested in amplifiers, tube amps, and so I started purchasing some of those books and trying to learn tube theory and how to troubleshoot tube amp. My education at MTSU was more of an audio more on the audio line, and obviously have used that out here also. But I think my experience on the road and self-education with books and videos is probably where I've gained most of my knowledge.
Do you play any instruments?
Play guitar. I play a little bit of dobro, a little bit of mandolin.
What do you do with your downtime at home?
A lot of my downtime, particularly during the day, is I'm working in my shop, either working on somebody's guitar or their amplifier. There's always a project, and that's a lot of my downtime, other than keeping my household going and doing the finances, trying to hone my craft and make a little bit of money in the process.
What is your favorite day off activity on the road?
I usually try to go to the gym first thing in the morning and get a good workout in, and then I look up bookstores. I love old books. Sometimes we'll go to ball games, but probably my favorite activity is looking up a bookstore. As nerdy as that sounds, I'm proud of it. But that's the thing I like to do.
What advice would you give somebody that wants to get into teching?
If this is what you want to do, if you want to be a tech, don't create a backup plan, because your parents are going to be really nervous and they'll want you to have a backup plan or fallback plan. If you create a fallback plan, you're going to fall back to it. I promise you, because this life is not easy. We're not trying to scare you, but we're talking honestly to you. It is not easy. You're gone. You're tired a lot of the times. You're having to deal with the things we talked about before. So I would say to start off with is learn as much as you can in the area you're interested in. If you're interested in being a drum tech, then hang out at the drum shop. Talk to drummers. How do you do this? When your rim's uneven, how do you fix this? Show me how you set ahead, how you tune it. Ask questions. Most of these guys don't mind answering them. The local music stores. If you've got clubs in your town where you are, go down to the clubs, meet the audio people that work there. Tell them, hey, I'll work for you for free. You don't have to pay me anything. I just want to learn. I don't want to get in your way. Is there anything that I can do? And a lot of times they'll say, sure, yeah, empty the trash and sweep the floor, and by the way, come over here and I'm going to show you how to wrap a cable. Most people are happy to teach if you approach them properly. Don't tell them about all the things you've done and all. They don't want to hear that. They don't have the time for that. Be there, show them that you're willing to learn, that you're a blank slate and an open book, and most people are happy to teach you. But that's probably where I would start. Just talk to people that have done it. Get online. You probably can find this information. Kenny's got this, he's got the site on YouTube, and pay attention to what he's doing, what he's putting on there, because he's talking to guys that do it every day. And that's the best place to learn. There's no theory involved here. It's all practical application.
What do you love about being a tech?
I love the sense of accomplishment. One, when a show goes really well, and the crowd's happy, because really what we're doing, it's easy to get stressed out in this situation. The thing that you have to remember is that you're really just entertaining people for a while. You're making them happy, making them forget about their problems, and if I can help somebody forget about their problems for a little while, that's a really good thing. I love that part of it. I have loved the traveling. I've seen 48 states, all the provinces of Canada, South America, been to Europe, got to meet people of all nationalities, and I've been to the White House 3 times, played for 2 presidents. I tell you, those are things that are exciting, to be able to take a vacation. And there is time off on the road. When you're traveling, you do have days off, and that's a lot of fun to get to see a city that you never thought you would ever get to see before. I love that part of it. I love working as a team. Whatever group you're with, you have certain people that you connect with, you can depend on them. You form this bond with your band members. The guys I work with, they're great. We communicate well. It's taught me a lot of people skills. I think it's taught me how to get along with people better. You learn to live in a confined space with 9, 10, 12 other guys, and sometimes women, on the same bus, and you learn to let things go. That's what I love the most. I think it's helped me to try to become a better human being, without sounding self-promoting. That's the only way I can say that. I'm very conscious of being kind to other people and working within those parameters.